We are the Lords of the Damned. That cannot be overstated. The masquerade, the Requiem, our dance macabre, is orchestrated, controlled, monitored, and facilitated by Clan Ventrue. Oh, it may not seem like it. It may seem that the Covenants have more of a role to play than the Clan of Lords, but allow me to make it perfectly clear that at the head of each of these covenants, or at the very least whispering in the ear of the puppet holding the reins of these covenants, there is a Ventrue at play. The Nosferatu make their grandiose claims of having a vast information network spreading across the world. The Mechet practice arcane methods of communication that frankly lead to more paranoia than anything else, and the Gangrel leave etchings in trees and on walls. The Ventrue have a brotherhood, a solidarity, even among the female members. We do not have prejudice based on gender, typically, although undoubtedly our clan is made up of more men than it is women. Men have historically held roles of greater power and import. I do not see this as a bad thing, and undoubtedly as time changes and women take these roles as well, we will embrace more women. The Ventrue is a clan of meritocracy, you understand, for the most part. We do not embrace willy-nilly. Certainly there has been the occasional Ventrue over the last 2,000 years that has seen fit to embrace some monarch or heir to the throne, thinking there was more power in lineage and blood than there is in actual ability or savvy, as the common folk like to refer to it. This is an unfortunate byproduct of our focus on lineage within the clan itself. When it comes to being kindred, we have much of a focus on such things. You see, I am the child of this great Ventrue, I am the grandchild of that great Ventrue. This is why many of us share the same names. We share family names. This is why many of us pass down first names from heroes of our ancestors. There is a great bonding experience through doing this. Some call it a cult. I call it a pyramid structure, an organization, a genuine respect for one's ancestry. So, as you can see, it is important for the clan itself to hold such title and such import on the vitae that's flowing through our veins, but when it comes to the mortals, it is better, it is preferable, and I would say more commonplace among our clan, to actually embrace those who show a certain aptitude for practicing dominance. This can be in any sphere of influence. While some of us will no doubt go for warlords, others may lean towards the corporate boardroom, or maybe even the sexually dominant. That is a relatively new avenue in which we are exploring, but one that is paying off dividends. The dominant sexuality, whether male or female, tends to translate quite well into other avenues in life. Not always, but sometimes. And so you will see quite a lot of unyielding dominance, doms, as it were, within our clan, lords and ladies, who do not take orders well. They're very uncomfortable taking orders and requests from their lessers, unless, of course, those orders and requests come from another Ventrue. We have various traditions in place that used to be practiced in kindred society more widely, but the Ventrue have clung on to them. This isn't through some blind inability to move forward with the time as much as we see the importance of structure and memory. You know, we practice the tradition of hospitality that went long out of favour, and this only applies to the Ventrue ourselves. We will never push a Ventrue away from our door if they require sanctuary. At the very least, one day of rest is permitted to a guest, and one should not report on that guest's whereabouts if they are being hunted by another clan. As you can see, the Ventrue, as well as forming a clan, a family, make up a covenant of its own, in a sense. We are an organisation. We can trace our child and our size. Very rare indeed, for an embrace to be made out of passion, not be calculated. And perhaps it is testament to the tools we apply in our jobs, our skills, our roles within kindred society, that we do not do so, and we look down our noses at those who do. When a Ventrue does commit such a crime, and perform such a shame upon the clan, our Cryptea will seek him out. We have a informal organisation, shall we say, within the organisation, a Gestapo or Stasi, a secret police force, made up purely of Ventrue who are utterly loyal to the clan, without need of blood bond, mind you, although sometimes it is required, and they are sent out to erase the possibility of bad reputation, shall we say. They will never strike a non-Ventrue, or at least not that I'm aware of, but their purpose is to keep the clan in check. It is very rare that they have to be utilised, but they have been since, well, just after the Roman era, and I suppose that takes us on to the clan's genesis. Well, it's as much of a mystery to me as it is to you, I am sure, while the Mechet and Deva can trace their lineages back to Babylon and whoever knows where else. We are fairly set in our origins being at Rome around the time of the Julii, a clan long forgotten by most and erased from the annals of history by mutual enemies. But the Ventrue persist. Some Julii bloodlines exist alongside us, but they are no threat, and they pay homage to us, the Ventrue. Are we usurpers? Some older kindred would have it that way, that we knocked the Julii off their perch, that we sold them out to the Strix or the Seven, or some other foul rumour that has no grounding or base or evidence. But the fact remains that the Ventrue exist tonight and the Julii do not. The Ventrue are among the most powerful clans of these nights. Julii are not. And the Strix, whether they existed or not in ancient Rome, do not exist now to tell the tales of what became of the Julii. It did not take long for the Ventrue to insinuate such a harsh word. Ingratiate ourselves in kindred society. We were not seen as a bloodline, an errant aberration for longer than a couple of decades, by my reckoning. It was more that we had a particular skill, and the rest of kindred society recognized the need for that skill. But rather than trying to take over kindred society wholesale, although we were instrumental in the propping up of the Camarilla for as long as it lasted, it was that the Ventrue ingratiated themselves with mortal courts, mortal rulers, mortal governments, mortal battle commanders, and we did it very, very well. If you are looking for an infamous or famous person of history, it's quite possible one of the Ventrue embraced that person for their qualities. We recognize qualities in many men and women and children. There is a strange habit sometimes that occasionally Ventrue pick up, it is not favourable, of embracing children who show great potential. There is the school of thought that children lose that potential once they reach a certain age, so to keep them at a childlike level of imagination, enthusiasm and creativity is important. Doing that, however, has led to some dreadful instances where we have come across a city only to find the ruling Ventrue have disappeared, and all that is left these 8 to 14-year-olds acting in the clan's stead. Certainly they may be capable, but in common Elysium, few people look at a child, even if that child is 200 years old, with any great deal of respect. It requires practice of the skills that we preach in order to hone that respect, and that is something that we are particularly adept at, if I do say so myself. We are gifted with control over animals, both kine and quadruped, I suppose, humans and animals, to put it another way. We do not really practice the subtleties of the Deva and attempt to slowly turn the crowd to our beneficence. Why would we? Why would we linger around mortal institutions for longer than we have to? No, no. We snap a finger, we say a few words, we make it so, and the humans do what we want them to. We do not forget what it was to be human, mind you. We are not some monstrous clan that wishes to control the path of humanity. Well, how would that benefit us at all? But we do like to get things done in short order. There is very little point to extended plots when there are so many dangers out there. Not the Strix. I hear rumours of the Strix far too often. No, other clans, other covenants. And you know, your Invictus can't help you if the Ventrue have turned their gaze upon you. Neither can your Loncere Sanctum. People presume that just because you're a Ventrue you must join the most arcane and archaic of covenants, that you must somehow prop up the stale institution. Far from it. I consider myself a proud member of the Carthian movement, and one of its driving forces, a piston, if you will, among that great machine that seeks to foment change among kindred society, but change that the Ventrue will benefit from. Ultimately, for me, it becomes clan, family first, covenant second. It is not always that way for the Ventrue, but, as I say, we have a great deal of respect and place a great deal of import on lineage because it is important among our line. Over political or philosophical viewpoint, the blood will out. The blood is the most important thing, you know. I recall a tale of a bloodline known as the Beni Murahim, Persian bloodline, Sassanid dynasty, from what I recall, so the first millennia A.D. And these Beni Murahim, they were perhaps more blunt and crass than many of the Ventrue of tonight. They had no skill with the discipline of dominate, or at least they were restricted through some ancient curse from a vampire, I believe a Nosferatu as far as the legend goes, who had the face of a goat. Either way, these Beni Murahim had practiced a discipline akin to puppetry. Essentially, they were able to physically manipulate the limbs and actions of another vampire or mortal, walk them out into the field of stampeding horses, galloping horses, I suppose, or have them turn around and drop down a well. Certainly it lends itself to a certain deal of crassness, but even among our bloodlines, even among the most horrific, such as the Massalarius, who you could argue are a bloodline of the Julii, they've been around for so long, they eat flesh. Gourmands to a man and woman. They may be revolting, but they are still lords. They are still of our clan. And so while our bloodlines may be a little notched down, we may see them as cousins, they may not have refined their disciplines as well as the main body, such as myself. They do serve a purpose, and they are still offered higher accord than a Deva or Nosferatu at any rate. Always Ventrue first. We are the Lords of the Damned. We do not seek to control humanity because we ingratiate ourselves with them so seamlessly. We can control humans, and often they know about it, but once you've used a tool, if you have no further use of it, then dispose of it. If it runs out of ink, you throw it away, don't you? And so it goes. I do not advocate just killing one's servitors once they've had their purpose, but you can always pass them on to some other master. Swap them among the clan. We are very good at that. Our receptacles travel far before they finally run out. You'd be amazed the uses we can make of a mortal. It's been so long since I was mortal, I scarcely remember. You know, this little history lesson, this little synopsis of my clan would not be complete without discussing what some deem our weakness. There's a little amount of confusion over what our weakness may be, or even if we have one. The Ventrue, after all, not being one of the original clans, or so it's claimed. But some claim that we are all potentially insane and going more that way, that we all become gradually unhinged from humanity, that we develop paranoias, that we become insolent and depressed, that we adopt a fugue state and the like, that the older we get, the more detached from reality we become. Now, I will say quite honestly, I have been around for a very long time, and I am not in the least insane. But I know of some eccentric members of my clan. What I will say is that we do suffer from a certain level of aloofness. We are aware of the power of our blood, we are aware of the importance of our clan and our traditions, and therefore we do see ourselves as better than others. It is in our blood. We cannot help that, nor should we. It is not a weakness. It is a constant reminder of why we have the disciplines that we do, why we practice them with such skill as we do, and, of course, why we are the Lords of the Damned.